Hey, YouTubers, Tasman here, bringing you another episode of Fantasy Grounds from the Ground Up Players Edition. And in the last episode, we kind of talked about all of this stuff right here. In this episode, we're going to focus on the toolbar, and this is actually part of the sidebar here, not toolbar. So let's go and begin. So to start with, we have this little arrow down here, and as you might think that arrows make things collapse, that's exactly what this does. You know, we can either expand or collapse our items here. But what this actually does will actually make it so this bar will actually be this wide or less. So if we click it once, you'll see that the little arrow goes in and these all are cut in half. So we still have the text telling you what they are, but it's been truncated or cut down to a smaller amount of actual letters or characters. If we click it once again, then we're stuck with just the first letter of each of the things. And if we go inside, we only have the images of the different things. So you know, once you are comfortable with what all the different things mean, you can actually shrink this down nice and small and actually have a decent amount of real estate. Now, earlier versions of Fantasy Grounds actually had big buttons here, and you couldn't actually do anything. Your only options pretty much was to have them side by side, which took up to about out here, or you could do, you know, just one row. And the only way you could do one row is if you actually took off some of the buttons that were there. For this, just so for easiness of remembering where they are, we're going to go ahead and leave it on big. It doesn't matter. So now that we've gone over that, let's talk about these each of these categories. So the first one is tool. Inside here we have what's called the combat tracker, the party sheet, the calendar. We've already gone over the color palette. We have our modifiers, which is an extended version of this. We have our effects, which are effects that affect our token. And then we have the options, which we perused over, but didn't really go into much. So let's go ahead and start with combat tracker. The combat tracker is exactly, you know, it's where you keep your initiative, the combat order, everything that's going on, health and stuff like that. If we click on the combat tracker, we can see that I've added in a kobold and my token without a fancy picture, but it doesn't matter, so that we can actually see the combat tracker here. So when we roll initiative, it will actually do an order here. It will give us an order. In fact, we can go ahead and do that if we click on our character and we go to the front page and we click the initiative dice right here. We can double click that dice, we can drag it over here, or I did mention that we can actually drag it down to our hotbar and put it there. One thing I would like to warn you about is what this does is it actually takes whatever the values is here and the formula for rolling and just puts it down here. So if we say find a ring that gives us, you know, a +3 to our dex, so we go from 12 to say 15. 15. Oh, I think this is because I'm the player. I don't think I can modify this myself. Oh, there we go. My numlock must not. Oh, my numlock is not on. So now that we do 15, we should get a +2 to our roll instead of that +1. But if we roll this now, you'll actually see it's still doing 12 +1, where it should actually be doing a 2. So if we double click this, you'll see we get 17, 18, 19. So just keep in mind that if you drag something down here into these hotbars, that might change as you progress in levels and stuff. You will want to drag it down after you've done that. And we can simply just drag it down and put it on top. And now that's been replaced, we'll get our one that we want, which is +2. And you'll see it automatically puts it here. Let's just, for the fun of it, we'll go in here and go into combat tracker, and we will roll initiative for our enemies, NPC initiatives. So wow, he rolled a 20. Sucks to be you. Okay, so anyway, that's kind of the combat tracker. So once combat started, it will start keeping track of the rounds and stuff that's going on. Depending on your GM, they might have it so you can actually see more information as far as what the HP is. It might be a bar that changes color as they get hurt. It might just simply say, you know, healthy, damaged, near death, kind of stuff like that. We can also see that it's a hostile mob. We can see what effects are on it right here. And of course, we can see what effects are on us as well. The little red means it's hostile, green means it's friendly, and yellow will mean it's neutral. So you're given very little information as far as, you know, as a player, I shouldn't know the exact HP, any temporary hit points, or how much damage it's actually taken. But I do need that for myself, you know, so I know how much I've taken and stuff. So this is a nice little place for that. When it's your turn, there will be a little bar here that appears with a little arrow saying that it's your turn. When you're done with your turn, you simply click on turn complete. You can actually take the turn complete and put it down here. In the past, that hasn't worked all the time. It does have some issues sometimes. I don't know if that's been fixed. I haven't actually ran a game or played a game in Fantasy Grounds for a little while. But that is an option that you might be able to look at. If it starts failing or acting weird, then just come back to the combat tracker by clicking on the combat tracker right there. So as a player, that's pretty much the combat tracker. I don't think there's anything else. Actually, let me see one thing. Can I right click on you? No. Okay. I wasn't 100% sure if you could actually target while you're in the combat tracker. It doesn't look like it. The next thing over is the party sheet. This will be all your party information. So this is gold that has, for example, gold pieces here, copper pieces, silver, electrum, and platinum. That's in the platinums down here because in one of my other recordings of this, it got out of order. Also, if we get parcels, you know, loot and stuff like that, they will be listed here where we can actually lay claim to different things. Say, hey, I want that. You can have this, you know. You can also say, okay, that all the rest of it's junk, and then it will automatically sell it for a percentage or something like that. And then you can, the GM can actually divvy out all the gold evenly between all the players. So this is, I'll actually have all the players. In the other tab here, you'll see that we actually have the watch order. So if, you know, I'm going to be first watch, I can come in here and say I don't do that. The GM does that. It's always hard to remember what the GM does and what I get to do. Over here we have our marching and formation. So as the GM, I forgot to put him over there, but if we come over here, let's just open this, and then go to our other sheet. We can actually, I think I might be able to do it here. Nope, let's just do it here. We can take from here. There we go. We can take our character and actually put them in here, and you know, if there's a formation, you can set that up. You can scroll in and out, so everyone can give a marching order or whatever, so the GM knows that. You can also use this as a really quick map of just a generic, you know, you can put a map basically in there with a nice little grid, or at least you used to be able to. Let's go back to the character. So now we can actually move our character and say, yes, I'm here. I'm gonna cancel that move. Right now it's not their turn or something. So the GM has to confirm that movement. But anyway, we can go ahead and say where we are in the turn, the marching order. They might say that up here is, you know, where up here would be the Do players not get a draw unless they have rights? Doesn't look like it. I'm not sure why they put those buttons there then. You used to be able to, I thought. So, you know, we can actually place ourselves where we are in the marching order. If we see this little circle here, if we left click on it and hold it, if we move the mouse to the side, it'll actually move it on the screen. Does this do this thing? Yes. So we can also hold down Control, and this will make it so that now when we do it, we zoom in and out. I don't think there were any others. It's just zoom in and out. We can also use the mouse wheel and scroll in and out to do that same thing. Sometimes this is just a more sure way of making sure we're moving the map than trying to grab it here, because we might move the whole window. So that is the party tracker. The next thing is the calendar. You may or may not have the calendar. I have the calendar set up for players on this one to be a Forgotten Realms calendar. So if I click on it, you'll see that it pulls up the Forgotten Realms calendar. So I can see entries. I can create my own entry here, you know, for whatever day it is. It keeps track of the time, you know, whatever you want. It's not, I mean, it's really not 12 a.m. right now. If you look here, it's actually at 11:25. The GM actually will change this stuff to the year and all that fun stuff. But as a player, you can, you know, click on one and then say add a log entry. I don't know, maybe I haven't given permissions on that either. If your GM gives you permissions, then you're able to do it. You can see all the log entries that have been there. Usually the GM is the one that uses this, and the players actually use it more as a reference thing. So it looks like 20 and 21 here have the summer solstice, autumn equinox, winter solstice. There's probably one up here too. Midwinter. So some of these are actual special dates in Faerun or in the Lost. Why can't I think of the name? Yeah, I can't think of the name now. Anyway, that's the calendar. I have rarely ever used that, but that just kind of gives you a quick idea of what it is. We've already gone over colors. The next thing is modifiers. So if we have our modifiers here, we can actually click on these. So for example, if I'm using a weapon or something like that, I can come in here and click critical. So if let's go ahead and grab my character, and I think I should have some weapons. Great, I don't have any weapons on me. Well, what I can do is I can click critical if it's a critical hit. Generally, it actually does this automatically. It will do criticals because it detected you rolled a nat 20. So rarely do I ever get into here. This stuff right here, opportunity attack, you can click that. That doesn't actually really do anything other than notify or let you know it's an opportunity attack. The cover and superior cover is the same thing as these guys down here. So the GM can create custom ones, but really most modifiers are taken care of in your character sheet automatically, and you don't really have to worry much about that. Effects, kind of the same thing. Depending on modules your GM has, there might be effects and stuff like that. But what you can do, like if I have my token on a map, which I believe I do, let's go in here to images, because I think that's where the map is. Actually, I haven't shared it yet. If we come into here as the GM, we can actually click on this, and then is it the toolbar? Clear targets. I think we just delete token visibility, rotate left, rotate right. That's just on the map itself, that's right. Sharing and I click share record. And this will now, you can see it draws a little token down here saying that's who it's shared with. If we go back to our guy, now we have the map pulled up. This is a good time to actually drag something down. So I can drag that down here. And now if by chance I close that, and if I go into, for example, if I go into my images, it is there now. And you can see it is publicly shared. But this gives me a real quick place of pulling it back up. So if I want to say add an effect, I don't know if this is actually going to visually show anything, but let's say I want to give myself a torch. I can just drag that on top of my guy, and now you can see I have this little icon showing I have a torch of 20. If I had walls and lighting turned on and stuff like that, you'd actually see kind of a glow around. We will show that later on, but that's not the focus of this video. So as you can see, we have lots of conditions. Let's say I am knocked unconscious. I am knocked out. I can add an unconscious thing on there. This will automatically have different things that, you know, well, for example, when you're prone, they have advantage on attacks if it's melee and disadvantage on ranged. It should do all that for you. Most of this stuff, other than the lights, is pretty much automated. So depending on, you know, what's being done, they're pretty much all automated. So once again, not really a lot of things you do with that. However, I would like to point out now, if we go into the combat tracker and we go under my effects here, you'll see that we have the light torch and we are set to unconscious. We can, when we come to, we can actually click on that once. It turns to a horizontal little white bar. Click it again and it's gone. So that's the way things are deleted. You click it once and then you confirm with the second one. So that's kind of the effects. The next thing we have is the options. Wow, we're 17 minutes. So in the options, you can actually see all the different settings the GM actually has set for the game. And you have 4 options that you're actually able to configure yourself. One is chat ring on whisper. It's a chat thing, so it rings on whisper. So if someone whispers you, it will give you some kind of notification sound. And you have the option of on or off. We also have manual dice entry. If, you know, your GM allows you, if I pick up a 20-sided die and roll it here, you know, it automatically rolls it. If I turn on the manual entry, I'm not 100% sure if this is going to do it. Yes, it did. Good. We can actually then roll it on our table, put what we got, you know, like a 15, hit the check to say okay, and you'll see we got a manual roll of 15. If your GM doesn't allow for that, then obviously you're not going to be able to get away with it. You can't cheat that system. But, you know, maybe your GM doesn't care, is impartial. So that has on off also. There's also this option of targeting to remove on a miss. So right now it's the default is set to multi. So let's say I have 5 targets selected and I shoot fireball and it hits kind of between them, but it misses, or, well, fireball is a bad example. Poison, I don't know. If I happen to miss, then it will automatically unselect them. You can turn it off. You can also have it on, which will just do a single target, or you can have multi, which is all your targets. So, you know, odds are you're not going to do the same thing again, and so it just unselects those. Then the next one is for turn stuff is auto center the map. So this is basically saying when it's my turn, it will auto center the map on me, so I know it's my turn and it shows me where I am. So if I'm up on the map looking somewhere else, it will actually tell me that it'll center the focus on me. So that's those options that you can have. Then we have these buttons down here. We already went over setup, but the background decal, if you have more available, then you can actually select what this background decal is. We don't have any others available, didn't need them, so that's fine. Languages, this is an important one. So we've talked about how here we have Common and Elvish, right? Well, we can come in here and see what are all the languages that are available to us. So we can see we have Thieves' Cant, Turan, Sylvan, Primordial, Orc, Giant, and stuff like that. When we create our character, we might have a background that says select 2 more languages, select 1 language, or whatever. If we come into our abilities, it will actually put something like this. So we have Common and Elvish, and then it says 2 of your choice. So if we want to have Orc, we can't type Orcish. It's not going to know the difference. So if I come in here and type Orcish, thinking maybe that's it, if I come in here, you'll see it doesn't actually add it as another language. However, if I type Orc properly, ORC, and then maybe hit enter, and let's give us, what else should we give us? Maybe Dwarven. Is it Dwarven, right? Dwarvish. DWARVISH. So now that we've done that, now if we click on this, you'll actually see Dwarvish and Elvish, Orc and Dwarvish is now in our list. So whatever is in this list will actually be able to be put here, and then I will be able to select it and say Loktar, and it will have some fancy font with it. If you do have a language that you do speak that's not in here, you can tell your GM and they can actually add it and also assign a specific font to it. There aren't that many fonts, so some of them will be repeated. I believe like Draconic and Elvish, I think, might be the same, or maybe it's Draconic and Infernal or something like that. So that is that little section right there. The next thing is currencies. This is where I was showing that PP is at the very bottom in our list when we were looking at it in here in our party sheet. And that's because I changed it. I deleted it and then I re-added it, but it doesn't let you resort that, which is kind of goofy. However, here it actually looks like it might sort it, or maybe it sorts by value. I'm not sure. So here you can see what currencies are in the game. If your GM doesn't do Electrum, they could delete that and it just won't show here. It also shows you the weight of them and the conversion value based off of gold. So for example, 10 gold is equal to, wait, I'm thinking it wrong. 10 platinum is 100 gold. 2 Electrum is 1 gold, and then of course 10 silver is 1 gold, and 100 copper is 1 gold. I don't know why I'm thinking the other way. I'm having trouble all of a sudden, because 10 gold is that's what it's saying. So it takes 10 gold to equal 1 platinum. That's what it's okay. So anyway, that's your currencies. Then we already did languages. Message of the day. This might be something the GM wants you to see. It pops up usually if they have it set. And then the last thing is token lights, which is the exact same thing we see right here under effects. So you can drag these onto your character. If you want more information about them, click the little eye. You can see that it's this color. I don't think we can actually change that, can we? Actually, we can. So you can change it for yourself. So, you know, I want my torch to be a little more orange. Says the duration in here, the brightness, where the brightness ring is compared to the dim ring, the fall off between them, and all your fun stuff there, all your options there. So that is all your options. And I think we kind of already went over this part, but I'm going to try and get this in real quick, maybe 25, 26 minutes. 27. So we already went over modules. These are all your modules you have installed or that you have activated, I guess is more accurate. You activate them in here. You can, if you have a boatload, you can search by name, you can search by author. You can also set a rule set filter so it only shows specific ones. You also have the load filter here, show me only ones that are unloaded or loaded, or just show me everything, right? We also have the assets. For the most part, if your GM doesn't give you access to stuff, you're not going to be able to do much. This is where we might be able to find images for our tokens, portraits for our tokens. We can also access the Fantasy Grounds store or a direct folder on our computer to find a token. I don't have any on this system, so I can't really show you the actual getting the images, but I will do that later on when we're more focused on the characters. And that's 25. I think we're gonna call it there. I think in the next episode, hopefully we'll be able to wrap up. We'll do player, campaign, and character. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Aside from that, comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter. Check out my Discord and my other channels. And don't forget to tell other people about my channel. Have them check it out. If they like what they see, they can sub. We grow the channel. Everyone wins. You know, and that's it, my friends. Until next time, I'll be seeing you later. Bye.